Hello and welcome back to the 30th episode of Greek Speaks. I made a mistake in naming the last one because it was 30 and I skipped 29, but it was 29. So this is 30th. Woo! It's 1 a.m. So this is going to be the first in probably a 3 or 4 part series of the lovers of the gods, the minor ones. So I'm going to go through the minor ones of Zeus and notable notes on them and like what kid they produced. But this one's gonna get its own episode because it's kind of its like own separate thing, and it's Apollo, and it's one of my favorite like god love stories gone bad, quote unquote. So this is the story of Daphne and Apollo. Woo! So Daphne is this river nymph who, is running around doing nymph stuff, as you do. Oh, a nymph is like a female forest deity kind of thing. Like a tree has a nymph, and for every individual tree there's a nymph kind of thing. So Daphne's a nymph. Apollo at one point starts making fun of Eros, the god of love. I think at one point one of the texts that I read said that Apollo was making fun of him using a bow and arrow, which I'm like, Apollo, dude. My guy. Maybe a little less unself-awareness would be nice. And so Eros gets really mad, as the Greek gods tend to do, and decides he's going to get revenge on Apollo. So Apollo is kind of like Zeus, and like there's never a pretty woman he doesn't like kind of thing. And so Eros decides to hit Apollo with one of his arrows of love, making him fall in love with Daphne. And Eros decides to hit Daphne with a arrow of lead, which makes her hate the first thing that pops into her field of vision, which happens to be Apollo. And so you have Apollo pining after Daphne, and you have Daphne hating Apollo. And so Apollo chases Daphne through the forest. Daphne eventually, throws up her hands and asks her father, who's this minor river god, to help her escape. She changes into the laurel tree, which is bay, actually. I learned this a couple weeks ago. Bay is laurel, so like the stuff you use in cooking. So Apollo is really distraught and decides to take her leaves and make them into his crown. And so that's why whenever somebody wins a Olympic game or anything like that, they get laurel leaves. And I think that goes into like modern Olympic games too. So yeah, it's just another example of gods being rapey weirdos and people not wanting, and non-consensual stuff. Enthusiastic consent, people. If I could tell the Greek gods anything, it would be consent. This is a very short video, but it's hopefully... It's one of the more iconic ones, and it's in a lot of poetry, and it's in a lot of art, and Daphne is one of the really well-known lovers, quote-unquote, of Apollo. Yeah, this will be probably a 3 or 4 part series. I probably will do a bunch of one-off lovers of Apollo next week, and then do all the major and minor lovers of Zeus the week after, and then maybe start doing the plays, and then eventually, probably my April or May, we'll start hopefully doing the Iliad and the Odyssey. And after the book I'm currently reading, I'm either going to start reading my Iliad and the Odyssey yearly read, or read the Greek myths by, I think his name is Rick Mays. Rick Riordan does the intro to that book, so that's another book I need to read. Greek myths by Robert Graves. I'm sorry. It was another famous classic. Eventually I'll get to the Iliad and the Odyssey, and I might do the Aeneid at some point, even though that's more Roman, but... So yes, if you have anything else, like always, you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments down below, and I will see you next week.